Hey, this is Jim. It's 11:09 a.m. in California on October the 24th. Please note that all discussions, analysis, and information presented are for general informational and educational purposes only and should not be construed as financial or any other form of professional advice. So AMC has tracked since I posted the last video to the member site. It's been a noisy stair-step, low velocity advance, and we'll cover that in the 5-minute chart that I'll bounce over to in a minute. First, we'll start with this on-balance volume chart. You can see here how it's flattened out, which is, at least the first step in potentially turning higher. Again, just to remind people who haven't seen the previous reviews of the on-balance volume, through my eyes at least, is that to me this will be the key. If the stock can start to rally and on-balance volume turns back up, this is sort of the level of on-balance volume that I'd like to see price break above, because I think that we could see an explosive advance if that's what's in the cards, that we would see the explosive advance above that level, which again is just this high that was posted on June the 6th, 2024. In other words, no need to wait to see whether or not the stock can move to a new all-time high in on-balance volume or not. And that was posted on that little mini squeeze based on the kitty tweets and everything that went on during that period there. So you guys can see the only difference in this chart and the last one that I showed of on-balance volume, where we really are focusing more on the on-balance volume in the chart, is that I've added this expanding megaphone pattern here. Now, this is not an expanding megaphone melt-up fractal technically, because in order to meet all the parameters that I've come up with, at least, to lock in sort of a valid expanding megaphone melt-up fractal, you need to have a 4-wave advance. This isn't an Elliott wave, strict Elliott wave 4-wave advance. There can be overlaps, but you need to see a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then price drop below that number 4 low and drop out below out of the bottom of the megaphone, expanding megaphone pattern, then re-enter back above, and that's when you tend to spark these crazy upside rallies where price wants to attack this speed line. At that point, you basically go back and look at the first leg advance, and you look at the trajectory of that speed line, and based on the sharpness of that speed line, you have higher levels on an attack, or levels that are super impressive or only slightly impressive. And then obviously as you move forward in time, due to that trajectory there, the price level of a speed line attack becomes higher and higher and higher. So that's kind of where we are. If the stock starts to accelerate to the upside and try to attack some of my hidden retest levels here, then I'll start to pay close attention to that speed line, even though, as I said, this is not technically meeting the parameters of an expanding megaphone melt-up fractal, because we did not see a 5-wave advance. We only saw a 1, 2, 3-wave advance. And by the way, in Elliott wave parlance, that's typically corrective. 3 waves is corrective, and 5 waves is considered impulsive in either direction. So anyway, that's what that looks like here. I'm going to bounce over to the 5-minute chart real quickly, show you guys what we were talking about last time. So in that previous video where we were about to move through this $4.18 vibration level, and we were looking for a buy signal, a wilt candle, tall green candle with a pickup in volume, we saw that right here. And so here you basically had this downtrend line right here. Price broke out. The point at which price breaks your trend line, either up or down at any time frame fractal, that's where either a hidden retest is formed if it's a fast market move, or a vibration level if it's a choppy vibrating move. At that point, you count the break as your A wave, and then the lowest low back down under the vibration as your B, next higher high as a C, and then the next low below as your D, and then you're looking for that ignition candle as an E wave, and the E wave can continue however high it's going to go. So those are the rules there. We got a nice buy signal based on behavioral analysis. If you take the buy signal there, your stop is placed below the lowest low of the vibration sequence, so the lowest low of either the B or the D wave in the case of an uptrend. So that trade would still be intact. And then I told you guys that because there were these other downtrend lines sitting here on this chart, I don't want to go into the specifics, but you guys can see where the point of origin is on those back into September. Because of that, I was telling you guys that this typically, based on history, means that we'll have a noisy stair-step advance. Whereas if we wouldn't have had those sitting there, the stock could have just taken off and started to rocket on that E-wave wilt candle buy signal. So that is what ended up happening. You hit the next resistance level through this downtrend line. You create another vibration sequence. And because they're running the algorithm so slowly right now, and purposely in my opinion, it's taken a long time for these vibration sequences to unfold. You guys know the rules as far as sort of minimum vibration sequence window based on the Fibonacci time extension, so I won't go through all that, but all of this looks pretty normal so far. So on this next move here above this downtrend line here, where we were expecting, again, noise above, stair-step coming, this is your A, this is your B, because again, we're looking at this new vibration level point of origin right here on the break, and it's not a fast market type move that leaves behind a hidden retest level. It's a very creepy crawly vibrating move there. So again, that's your A, that's your B back below this 428 vibration level. That's your C, that's your D, and you're looking for an E wave here and a wilt candle, and sure enough, you got it right here at about 8:15 my time this morning. There's a 5-minute price bar, and you can see the volume pick up here on that big green bar. There was a series of multiple green bars. Let's take a closer look at that actually. So there you go. I mean, just textbook wilt candle through our 428 vibration level. The reason I didn't share this publicly is because in the past when I'm sharing the specifics here, things tend to trade differently. You know, I don't know if someone's following what we're doing or if AI is following, but it just tends to be more stubbornness when I share things publicly. And at this point, I've taught everyone through multiple videos exactly how the behavioral analysis model works, or behavioral analysis method, if you guys want to use it. And so I'm hoping you all can just quietly do this along with me behind the scenes, so that we don't draw any attention to the stock that creates a more heavy trading environment through the algorithms. So again, that's absolutely textbook. You had your A, B, C, D, and we're looking for a volume increase. We're looking for an acceleration candle where it's a green closing candle that paints through the 428 vibration level and closes at the top end of the range. So, more often than not, vibration level turns out to be sort of mid-range of the candle, but this is even more bullish when it closes at the top end of the range. And then, of course, you had 1, 2, 3 more green candles. So it was a total of 5, 10, 15, 20 minutes of trading there where you had that nice move. Now, it's not that big of a deal percentage-wise or price-wise. You're talking about the previous candle closing at $4.27, and then even after the 15-minute run, or 20-minute run rather, you're up at $4.38 as the high. But in this chopping, vibrating, low-velocity market here, in this ticker, this is what it's going to look like until we can clear all of this noise. Now, you guys can see that there's one more downtrend here that we have to deal with, and price was turned away from that level earlier this morning. Vibration level on this, let me make sure this is a decently clean trend line before I give you that level. Yeah, that's a decently clean, this isn't down to the penny, but that's a decently clean. So it's going to be about 436, we'll call it. And odds are that we'll have to do some more flopping around this level. I call it vibration, you call it whatever you want to call it. Again, I came up with all these terms when I was doing this behind the scenes for myself, never intending to share it, so I didn't really put tons of thought into it, just kind of the words that came to my mind. So again, what we'd be looking for here is this would be the A, this would be the B, we'd be looking for a C, D, and then another wilt candle, E wave, to finish up the vibration sequence here. There is a chance because this downtrend line is created off of this, let's call it September 9 high and September 13 high, and the duration of the downtrend prior to the potential break that we'll see here took quite a bit of time. There's a chance that we're going to end up spending way more time around this 436 level than we want to, but in rare exceptions during exceptional zones of strength, and especially if we can see price start to move above some of the important Anemoi triggers I'm going to share with you guys in a minute, we could see this big run to the upside and then come all the way back down to the 436 level to finish the vibration sequence. So keep in mind that it's always not as textbook and clean as these two have been, where the vibration sequence takes place over a 3 to 4 day period here on the 5-minute chart. We could easily just see price take off and move to much higher levels and then come crashing all the way back down again to take care of that 436 vibration sequence. But at some point it does need to be taken care of. These are just based on everything I've studied going back over 100 years. This is the battleground, the battle line between the bulls and the bears, and based on human emotion, it's important that it takes place. And if the fight doesn't take place right here, it's almost like a bully coming up and shoving the kid around on the playground. Maybe the fight doesn't take place during this 3, 4, 5 day period, but then down the road, the fight does inevitably take place. So that's what that looks like, you guys. As far as the Anemoi terminal, I don't know if this is going to work. I'm going to move this browser over, and sometimes Loom does not want to capture a second. It locks in on that chart, so I can't tell right now until I render this video whether you guys are seeing this. If you are seeing this, then you can see that the bot is long here on the day trader, Anemoi day trader chart. And then if I bounce over here to the 6-month chart, this is even more important. I'll go to view in full screen here. But you guys can see how price is working to move above the Anemoi daily trigger. Daily trigger today is at $4.39. That'll drop slightly tomorrow, October 25th. And then our weekly trigger is at $5.22. And importantly, that will drop another, I think 7 cents is what we're dropping per week. So if price can move above that daily trigger at 439, we have a nice little air pocket up to 522 if it were to happen tomorrow, and then chop 7 cents off that going into Monday of next week. Now, if we can move above that weekly trigger, then that's when we're looking at a significant advance and maybe a 10x on the stock. Interesting thing about that is that would only represent a move back to the old $4 and $5 level, but as a percentage move off of the recent lows or even where we are today, it's more like a 10x as opposed to the 700% move that the model caught back in May, June of 2021. So, it would be a big deal for the people who were able to add down here if it were to happen. For the people who are just trying to scratch back and recover the losses that Adam Aaron handed to everyone, not so great. But just to give a little perspective there on where we are. So hopefully you guys can see that. If you can't and you're still viewing the chart, again, we'll be looking for noise around that 436 level. I call it vibration, and then we'll be looking for, if you have the ability to drill down and at the volume on these 5-minute bars, that's where you're looking for a nice big volume move. If you're wondering about, what I consider to be a nice volume spike, and again, if you don't have the advantage of looking at volume on a 5-minute bar basis, just look for that big green wilt candle. Typically, it takes volume to create a candle that looks like that, and so you don't have to lean on the volume characteristics. If you do, though, instead of looking for a specific level of volume, because it constantly changes per time frame and per bull bear cycle and everything else, just it has to do with resiliency levels and things like that of human emotion. So what I like to do is I like to, if I think I've seen a wilt candle and I want to determine whether or not that I could view the volume as being high relative to the way the stock's been trading, I just look back at one of the previous spikes. You can see right here this volume spike. No need to come all the way back here. I just want to look at the kind of the previous volume spike, and it's almost like a double bottom in volume if you look at the way that looks. And then same thing back here. You can see kind of previous volume spike, and then we moved up and accelerated through on the wilt candle with higher volume. The volume happened to be 355,000 shares, we'll call it, and then here it was only 287 today, but this was a much more impressive candle as far as the size of the green candle and then the follow through for the next 20 minutes. So again, just look at the volume spike relative to the previous volume kind of spike valley right there. That's it from my side. Good luck, everybody. Oh, the bull window in AMC, and I'm not going to give specific dates here. You guys have one of the dates on the chart that I gave you a couple weeks or a month back. But in general, this opens up about a 3-week window here as of about 11:30 today. So another 4 minutes. The algorithm that's pressing down on AMC should lift, allow it to start to move above this 436 level or start to go through the vibration sequence or just lift off. And then we're in like I said, a 2 or 3 week zone of strength, multiple date timestamps and intraday zones of strength. I'm not going to give the specifics. This is plenty of information, and we'll see what unfolds from here. That's it from my side. Good luck.